Bird dog, the easiest way to start in real estate investing. Most real estate investors get excited about fix and flips or snatching up lots of rental properties, and rightly so. These are great strategies that can make a serious impact on your financial life. It can change it forever. There's a lot of people that just aren't quite ready to start doing those rental properties or fix and flips quite yet. I mean, it took me several years before I built up the confidence to do my first fix and flip, even though I was a real estate agent and I helped other people do fix and flips. So you want to get to know the ins and outs of this real estate investing game. So maybe one of the things you could do is actually become what's called a bird dogger. That'll allow you to build your cash reserves before you jump in and flip a property. That's a great way to get going and get started in the game. We're going to talk all about what is a bird dogger. Well, the reason why it got this name is if you are any type of a bird hunter, lots of times there are dogs, and what they're doing is sniffing and trying to find where the hens are, where the pheasants are, where the whatever you're trying to hunt is. And basically what their job is to run around and sniff. Now, when the bird finds something, what he doesn't do is jump out there and try and kill the pheasant himself, right? What he does is he points to it, and typically they'll run. He's looking, he smells something, he sees something, and he freezes and he points. Now, sometimes that's he goes forward, he puts his tail up, whatever the case is, but he freezes and points. These are well-trained, well-behaved, very expensive dogs. They're worth about $5,000 or more per dog, maybe as much as $10,000 for one of these well-trained dogs. Well, that's the same idea as being a real estate bird dogger. Rather than you trying to kill the deal, rather than you trying to take the meat home, rather than you doing all those things, all you're doing is finding a good opportunity and then bringing it to somebody else that can do the rest of the system. Now, the great thing about this is you can learn along the way. So you identify a good opportunity, you maybe make a phone call or get in touch with them, then you hand it over to an experienced investor and you go with them on the appointment. You see what they say and how they do it. You see how they close the deal, or if they don't close the deal, or why not. And in doing so, you get some education along the way. So what does a bird dogger get? Well, it gets a little bit of money, not a ton of money, and here's why. A bird dogger is basically pointing and saying, there is an opportunity here, but the person that you're bird dogging to or giving that deal to has to make the deal, structure the deal, put it under contract, close, get the financing, fix and flip it, and sell it. So they're gonna get the lion's share of the profit. But typically what's gonna happen in being a bird dogger is you're gonna get some sort of a finder's fee. Now, depending upon the price range, depending upon the area, that could range from $1,000 to several $1,000s. And in some situations you can negotiate and say, hey, I'll take a few $1,000s, but I also want to get 5% of the profit on the back end, or 10% of the profit on the back end, where you get some upside if that's successful when they resell the property. The point is with all of this is what you're doing is getting into the game. You're finding opportunities, you're giving those opportunities to experienced investors, you're following along the pathway with those experienced investors to see how they structure and make the deal happen. You're getting paid for finding that deal or pointing towards where the opportunity is, and if you want to, you may be able to get paid on the back end if they do a great job, and there is a lot more money on the table when the experienced investor actually does that fix and flip. So this whole idea of bird dogging is identifying an opportunity and letting the big guns come in and make it happen and learning from their experience. Now, this is free. It's good for people of all different skill levels. Like you could find the opportunity and give it to somebody, or you could find it, make the phone call and then give it to somebody, or you could find it, make the opportunity, go to the appointment and sign it, and then give it to somebody, which would be more of a wholesaling type strategy. But it's getting you started, because real estate investing is all about finding good opportunities and helping solve real estate problems. What problems do people have, and how can you help solve them? By purchasing the property and making it a better place to live. So how to find investors to pay for you to bird dog them properties. Well, one of the great ways to do that is by using what's called cash investors. One of the things that we look at is how many times does someone buy a property and sell the property within the same year, and how many people actually buy that property and do not get a loan on it. Those are going to be called cash investors. All right, let's just take some area. Let's just say, I don't know, Atlanta, Georgia, since it came up first. And one of the things I can do is I can come in here and filter and do a quick reference. This is with Investor's Edge, and I can get what's called a cash buyers list. So there's 53,682 that are on this cash buyers list. Now, you may want to say, you know what, I only want cash buyers that are actually buying single family houses or townhouses or 2 to 4s. So that's going to cut it down to 37,000. And you may say, I only want buyers that are buying cash properties for $500,000 or less. And maybe you don't want people that are buying really, really small properties, like maybe you don't want them under $100,000. So there are 31,000 cash buyers. Now, the other question you say here is like, hey, what time frame? Maybe it was just in the last year. Maybe you want to go further. Those are all things that you can sort down and look at. But what you could do if it was in a specific zip code, let's just pick on this zip code, 30331. Let's just change this to 30331. And that's just in Georgia. And let's say your property is in 3000311. Well, this is a list of people who have paid cash for a property for single family, townhome, multifamily 2 to 4plex. But then let's just say, you know what, I'm just dealing with a single family property here. Great, here's 2,258 people that have bought a property for cash in the zip code where you just found an opportunity. Now, the other thing you can do is what's called reverse wholesaling, where you can go to these people and say, hey, I understand last year you bought a property in this zip code. What are you looking for and how can I help you? And they basically give you a shopping list. This is what I'm looking for. And then you go out and find what they're looking for, bring it back to them, make a bird dog fee, or as you get more advanced, do a wholesale fee and make more money as that goes along. So it's pretty easy to find these cash buyers. You can mail to these cash buyers, or you can do a skip trace and call these cash buyers, but these are people who paid cash in the very zip code that you are trying to work. If I sound a little excited about bird dogging, because I am. This is a great way that anybody can get started. You don't have to have experience, and you basically are getting a built-in mentor along the way as you find these cash buyers and say, hey, I'll go find some opportunities. As I find those, I want to follow it through in the process. I want to make a little bit of money, and as you start getting better, you can get into wholesaling. It's free, it's easy to get started, and it's a great way to get yourself in the game regardless of the situation or anything you may find yourself in. I put together a video for those that are eventually wanting to do fix and flips. It's the 13 steps to a successful fix and flip. Along with bird dogging, I think wholesaling is one of the best ways out there for new investors to get started. So in my Find Fun Flip system, you can learn how to wholesale and then roll those profits over into your first fix and flip. If you'd like more on this, you can read more at dohardmoney.com or click the link on the screen. Make it a very profitable day.